Memories like the corners of my mind. Misty watercolor memory of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind. Smiles we gave to one another for the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? And if you had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Could we? Memories, they may be beautiful and yet much too painful to remember. So we simply choose to forget. Oh, it's the laughter, and we will remember the way we were. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. That song, I got through it. I got through it. You know, I was dealing with some friends on yesterday. And in between my laughing and laughing about what went on at Manitowoc, we began to reminisce about things from the past. Memories, memories, memories. One of the memories that I thought I'd share with you guys that I had totally wiped out of my mind was my experience. I guess y'all say, whoa, I be going through it, y'all. I be going through it. Listen to me. Let me tell y'all my experience with Johnny Carson and the Johnny Carson stalker. We didn't know that Johnny Carson, I guess in our town, is in syndication now when he comes on, and so at same time, late night. And what it did was it brought memories back. This is all public knowledge, so I don't have to worry about getting in any trouble. And I'm sure Ken doesn't mind. So there's a situation where we grew up, all of us, and I told y'all about them damn church people. You anything can happen. Well, there was a woman who was kicked out of church, basically our church, because I wasn't born yet, but supposedly she told the preacher and stuff that it was an immaculate conception. And of course, nobody believed it. She was single, and she gave birth to a beautiful, bouncing baby boy. But as we talk about mental health issues, and y'all know we in the mental house, so this is the perfect place for this story. She never had her mental illnesses and her situations addressed. Okay, so of course she took all this psychosis and passed it off onto her son. And when we were children, we used to sit around listening to her tell us stories about how she got stuck in the bathroom and he would take a toothpick and stick it through the keyhole and pull her out. I mean, these are the things that she would stand up and testify in church and say, and things like that. And no one even said anything. Nobody even said, like, we should call the people with the suits on after service, put this in the straight jacket and get her out of here. No, never happened. So, of course, like I said, I'm very familiar with this family. I pretty much grew up with them in church. So when they got kicked out of church, they had pretty much didn't have anywhere to go. And my mother, of course, being a codependent that she is, she loves to take on everybody's problems, and she's got an ear for everybody. So that was just part of her makeup. So this woman would park herself in our home, and when I would come home from school, we would come home from school, she'd be there with all these fascinating stories and just craziness. How her son, he was special. Remember, he was an immaculate conception, so he was better than us, and she had no problem letting us know that, even in front of our parents. I mean, and they never said, my mom never said anything. Not my dad, because he would never be home. Because I think that there was a hidden rule in my family that my mother, she would either have to be leaving if my father came home, or she shouldn't be there. Because it seems like if ever he came home and she was here, she had to get up out of there. Because I think that he didn't want to hear no more craziness. He was crazy enough on his own. So, but to make a long story short, I've regressed. I'm sorry. She would tell us stories, again about how when they didn't have any money, because they would always come over and be borrowing money from my mom and stuff, and how. But the story would be that he could stand out on the porch and lift his hands like this, and the wind would blow, and money would just come. And so, as kids, we would always like, why my mama won't say, well, why ain't no money coming to your ass right now? Why you got to be over here begging me? Okay, you only got one kid. I got four. And why are you fucking with me? Okay, but that's another story. So this continued. And the young man in question, he grew up with all these delusions, and he really basically entertained the whole neighborhood until we got older and we really saw how crazy he really was. Well, we really saw how delusional, because we knew there was eccentric, but of course, as you get older, you see just how serious the issue is. I remember once he called my school, his mother called my teacher because I took a tape to school, and I didn't know he was on there, on the tape, and then they found my teachers. This is how, they were just diligent, and they could do all kinds of crazy stuff, like things that normal people just don't try to do. Like, they would just do a lot of research and find out who the people were, and they actually found my teacher, called him at his house, cursed him out, saying that he was trying to steal a tape, a song from the young man, her son, of course, who's special, Jesus incarnate, and that she was going to sue him. So when I came to school the next day, he had this red face, and he was looking at me like, who's this lady and who's this man? I'm like, damn, how he know them? Well, he proceeded to tell me the story, and I've never been so embarrassed in my whole life. I didn't know that he was on that tape. I forgot, and I let my music teacher hear for some reason, and I was on the tape as well. But it's a long story. And anyway, the mother called the teacher and cussed him out and claimed that he was stealing her son's material. She was very overly protective. It was a real scene from a Psycho movie, really. And this is not funny, because we always talk about mental health in the black community. And even though I'm laughing about this, some things I can't laugh away, because like I said, I know I got my issues. That's why I'm in the mental house. Okay, but with that being said, this guy, when he got about, maybe, I don't know how old he was, maybe in his early 30s or late 20s. I have no idea. I can't remember. But he told me he was going to go to California, and that he was going to get his money from Johnny Carson, Joe Piscopo, Jane Kennedy. I don't know if you guys remember her, but all these people were holding his money, and he wanted it back. And I told him, I said, you really shouldn't do that, because he would take his money and just buy tickets to go travel all across the country, California, New York, whatever. because he was very talented. He would write scripts and screenplays, but he was just, whatever. So to make a long story short, I told him not to do it. So the first time he went out to California, not the first time he went to Johnny Carson's house, should I say. Johnny Carson said that, him and his wife was walking along their estate and having a great, stroll in their beautiful yard, acres, beautiful shrubbery and the landscaping, and all of a sudden this big black man is in his yard. Of course, this is crazy because Johnny don't know how he got past security. He don't know how he knew where he lived. He doesn't know anything. He just know that he ran into the house. He was, totally terrified. Called the police. Whatever. They held this young man, and then they at that time, he was given the charge for stalking and told not to come back to California and yada yada yada. Well, remember, crazy don't go away, and it's not in a vacuum. So he really was mad then. So he really was gonna get Johnny, and the people were surprised because they were like, "How the hell did he find out? Did he take one of those tours?" And they said, "This is Johnny Carson's house. How in the hell did he find it?" Right? So that was the genius in this guy. This guy is really a genius. Okay, short of being taken out of school in third grade, knowing how to read college level material, self-taught. It's just really something. And the reason why he was taken out of school because the mother ran away with him because she didn't like the teacher's discipline in him. Okay, so then we go further on to he couldn't take the fact that he was sent away. So he took it a step further, and at this time he told Johnny Carson, he wrote him a letter actually to his team, and had the nerve to tell him that he was coming back and he wants his money, and he's responsible for the script of Jackie Wilson that he sent to Johnny Carson, and Johnny Carson, whatever he did with the script, he doesn't know, but he was never compensated, and he wanted the rights to his screenplay and other things. And he had the nerve to give them a date and time when he was coming back. He came back when Johnny Carson was doing the monologue. So this is going to show you how long ago it was, because Johnny was still alive. He was doing the monologue, and my buddy, my homie, showed up. It was backstage. He had a sock with salt in it, and they said it was a weapon, of course. And he made it all the way to the Burbank Studios in California, and when he got there, Johnny Carson was doing the monologue, and they saw this big black guy again, the same guy that he saw in his backyard. Johnny Carson almost shit his pants, right? But the security took him away, and they tackled him, of course, took him away. The young man is not violent, and of course they'll say I can say it because I know, but they put him away in They put him away in I think it's one of the state hospitals out there in California. And myself and Dr. Brown had to get him, the late great Dr. Brown, I should say. My homie, rest in peace, Greg. We had to get him back here on a medical transfer because they wouldn't let him come out again. And when we start thinking about some of these memories from our childhood that we were exposed to, and some of the people that we were exposed to, it's like, how did he get from a kid that just told stories, and then the stories escalated to the point where he stalked Johnny Carson? I mean, this is all public record. You can go and look it up. And they arrested him, and they put him in jail. And it was insane, that whole thing. So When Johnny Carson comes on the television now, the people in charge of him have to make sure that he's nowhere in the presence of the television screen, and they can't watch it in his presence. Because although he's a lot older, just the mention of the big JC will send him into a frenzy, and he will probably try to, at his age, to get back to California and recoup his funds from Johnny Carson and the Johnny Carson estate. Wow. How is that? Is that a story for your ass? Okay. I thought I'd share that with y'all. Those are the memories that I had today, and I had to bring it up because it gave us so much entertainment yesterday. Just like the people in Manitowoc. Whew, I thought I'd share that with my family today. Very interesting. Mental health is really a serious thing. It really is. And if it goes unchecked and unaddressed, a lot of things can happen because of it. Don't be afraid to come to the mental house. Don't be afraid to leave your problems in the mental house. And don't be able to create that space where you can express yourself. Okay? I want to thank you for being out there. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe, because you know I love having you here to share my world. And I will see y'all next time in the mental house. Bye bye.